In today's video, ladies and gents, we are checking out a torch the size of my £250,000 Land Rover Defender. Now admittedly the key does also look exactly like the same one you get with a 2009 Land Rover Freelander 2, but that's pure coincidence. Let's get into it. So a couple of months ago the team over at Wuben contacted me asking if I'd like to test their new easy carry light, the G5, which hadn't landed at the time. I've carried this around for the last 2 months now, and this has just landed in the last week. So as you can see there, we've got a nice illustration of the flashlight on the front. We have a couple of sticky pull tabs which you just pull aside. That slipcase comes right off. There we have the inner box. This simply opens using a couple of cardboard flaps, and inside you will find a couple of bits. First of all being your torch. Clearly this has been used for the last couple of months, but I will say stay patient and watch to the end, because you will have a chance of winning one of these for yourself. And I will be asking questions regarding this video for you to enter. So a couple of baggies here. We have a little lanyard and a little keychain holder. I've not found that useful at all, but you may do so yourself. And we also have a booklet of instructions. I haven't found these very self-explanatory, quite complicated to be fair. Could just be me, but there we have the modes of operation. We'll go through them in a little while. You do also get a small USB cable, which I've been charging this with, and there we have the tiny torch again. So the Wuben G5 flashlight is part of Wuben's new ECL lineup, and they've taken a step back from the whole EDC scene and again named this the ECL, which stands for Easy Carry Light. And I must say they couldn't have got the nomenclature of this little flashlight any better. As you can see there, this is absolutely diminutive in size. And again, if we compare this flashlight with my car key, you can see there they have a striking resemblance, and I really do hope in the future I don't mistake this for this and start ramming this into my console. So the biggest selling point of this torch is going to be its diminutive size, as you can see there, but the guys over at Wuben have really thought about this flashlight and implemented some really nice design innovations into this torch, which we'll go over now. So the first one, starting at the top of the torch here, we have a 180-degree rotating bezel head. As you can see there, we have a nice positive sounding click when it reaches the end stop. This is going to be handy for you to anchor that light and point it in any direction, depending on how you're using or wearing this torch. The second feature I like about this torch is the multi-position spring clip just on the side of the torch body here. And again, this can be positioned in a 180 degrees fashion just by lifting and swinging the clip. So there it is on the back. Back to the centre, lift again, rotate to the front. And this just gives you options for, again, mounting the torch. You can put this on a backpack strap, maybe on your cap, and just adds more functionality to this awesome little flashlight. On the bottom of the flashlight we do have a magnetised base, and although this is commonplace now on all torches of this sort of size and nature, it's still a very handy feature. For example, I have seen people in certain videos hammering knives into trees and then attaching a magnetised torch to illuminate an area. Also, if you have an emergency breakdown, this can be used to attach to the underneath of your bonnet or your hood to illuminate the engine bay, to have zero chance on fixing any brand new car at the roadside. On the side of the torch at the top here you'll find the function button. On the bottom you'll find a sliding toggle with implemented functionality. So when the toggle is at the bottom of the torch, that is a lockout mode. The light will not work, so it won't turn on accidentally in your pants. You slide it up one, that will give you functionality over the function button there, and if you slide it up one more time, that will give you access to the USB-C charging port just here. Now the torch does come in two colours. I believe I received two black ones, but it also comes in green, which I wish I'd known about at the time because I would have asked for them. But the black is a nice matte finish here, quite hard wearing. Again, I've wore this in my pocket now daily, with keys, coins, pens, pocket knives, things like that, and it has held up quite well there. As you can see, we've got a few bright spots just on the corners, nothing major. Probably the worst one being, where was it, just down here. as you can see there. But I really do like that. It kind of adds like a tactical patina look to it. And the whole feel of this tiny little flashlight does scream like a tactical torch. Yeah, really impressed with it. I really enjoyed using it. Now sometimes when the R&D department do start a new project, the end results can be somewhat disappointing, where they haven't implemented enough functionality into the device they're making, or it could be on the opposite end of that spectrum where they've put too much in and overcomplicated something that should in essence be very simple. So on this occasion, ladies and gents, I do believe that is the case with the Wuben G5. They have implemented way too many light functions into this little torch, and it's functions that I've not found useful at all. But the core functionality of this torch is what appeals to me, and I'll show you exactly what that is. So if we slide the toggle up one, that'll let us operate the button on the side, and a single press of that button will give us a 2 lumen LED, which is great for close-up work, maybe looking for keys in your bag, looking for a keyhole in a door, things like that, and that will last for 65 hours. If we double press that button, that's going to send us into turbo mode, and that's a 400 lumen. You can feel some heat off that, and that will give you around 50 minutes of use. A single press of the button again will turn that off. Also, you can slide the lockout button back down, and that will also turn the light off. From the lowest setting, 2 lumens, we also have a rotary switch, a rotary dial just here, and that will allow you to increase or decrease the intensity of that light, and it will also blink when it's at the end of both, as you can see, and that is quite linear. It does give you some nice modulation there on the amount of light you may need. The only other function I found useful from the actual white light is a long press of the button on the side, and that will give you a 10 lumen red light. Now this is where the functionality of this torch ends for me. Its usefulness for me anyway. If they wanted, they could have implemented a sort of SOS strobe light using the white light. That would have been useful. But from here you got the full spectrum of the RGB light, and by turning the dial here, you can see we're going through pink, orange, green, blue. I just don't see a use for that at all. And here we have a couple of, I can only say really unnecessary light modes. So we have a red and a green. Double press that again, we have a red and a yellow, and we also have sort of a police blue and red siren sort of light. Again, this just adds complication to the user interface, because to be honest I can't remember which mode or how you press this to get these on, and I just can't see a place where I'd even use these, unless probably a discotheque or something. And again, the basic functionality for me is the white light, turbo, sorry if that blinded you, the ramping up and down of the lights, and then a long press just to get that on, which is now blue. Put that back to red. And that's where the functionality of this torch ends for me. And it's a real shame that them unnecessary light modes have been built into this little flashlight, because it does kind of steal away from some of its sort of tactical prowess, because when you get this in the hand, it does feel like a proper solid little unit. It feels like some high-end sort of tactical military gadget, and with them light modes in there, it does kind of give it a novelty feel. But on top of all that, the torch comes in at a very lightweight, 52 grams, and also has a rating of IP68, and Wuben do say you can submerge this in 2 meters of water for 1 hour. Right folks, so just to give you some sort of idea on the brightness of this little torch, first of all we'll go with the 2 lumen lowest setting. That's a single press of the button from off. And the camera is pretty much set up to replicate what I can see with my eye. So as you can see there, 2 lumens is enough for surveying your immediate area. Then if we go into turbo mode, just on the Viralkin here, there's the 400 lumens. And that is probably blowing that screen right out now. So plenty of light. I'd say this is more of a spill light than a concentrated beam. although you do have a brighter area in the middle, but definitely not a penetrating beam. And this is the 10 lumen red, which I also find very useful on this torch. So again, that should do a nice job of lighting up your the small area around the front of you, preserving your night vision. And then again, we've got the gable end of the adjacent apartments just over there, and I'd say from my current position, probably looking at about 60 feet away there. And if we go straight into turbo mode with the light, you can see that gives off ample light there. So it is quite a far-reaching beam, that, for such a small torch. So we've got plenty of light there to very dimly illuminate the side of that building, but it can accomplish that quite easily. The wall in front of the camera there is around 15 to 20 meters away from my position, and if we go, you can see there, quite easily illuminates the side of that building. So quite a strong light, 400 lumens. Now, if any of you ladies and gents do follow me on this channel on a regular basis, or maybe you follow me over on Instagram, you will know, or you should know, that I do like to carry an EDC on a daily basis. Now, if you're not sure what an EDC is, it stands for everyday carry, and it's the habit or the art of carrying a small selection of tools, personal tools, on your person on a daily basis. So that for me means any number of these small Victorinox knives, and I also like to carry a small flashlight. Now, before the Wuben G5 came to me, my favourite EDC carry flashlight was the Trustfire Mini 3 EDC ×3, I think it was called, I can't remember. I did review it on the channel, but that was on my person on a daily basis right up until the unfortunate event which I did post on Instagram last week, when I found out that one of my very, very special knives that was gifted to me basically from, you know, my brother when he came over last year, and that was a Falkneven PXL folding knife, very, very near and dear to me. Also my torch and some other insignificant things from the car. Now, this happened when I had my car valeted a few weeks ago, and I've only just realised last week that these items were missing. So this will replace the Mini ×3. Let's just turn that down a little bit. Sorry for that, ladies and gents. So this will be replacing the Mini ×3 from Trustfire. I did love that torch, but I've got to say that this has been the most comfortable torch I've ever carried. And if you guys wear jeans, you will know on many pairs of jeans you do get a very, very obscure pocket, which I never have any use for. That's this tiny pocket at the top. Now this very, very conveniently slips right into that pocket and gives me a whole new use for this pocket. And again, the knives can just slip into the pocket, and again, very, very comfortable there, very unobtrusive, and I can't even feel that they're really, really nice. So I am glad in one respect to be able to replace the torch that went missing, and this is a great little torch for that. 400 lumens is going to be more than enough for personal use. We'll test this out on the Varalkany when the sun goes down later on. But unfortunately, I am never going to be able to replace that knife, and even if I bought one to replace it, it wouldn't have that same sentimental value. So, a tip for you guys, if you do take your car to some of the many valeters, car valeters that have popped up in recent times, as well as the Turkish barbers and all the vape shops, just remove all personal items from your vehicle. And that is one thing I will be doing in future. In fact, I probably won't be using them again. So that is that. Right, ladies and gents, if you have been patient and watched the video to the end, as promised a few videos ago, I do have one. Wuben was very kind enough to send me one to give away for you guys. Now, if this is a green one, I'm going to go spare. Oh, it's black. It's alright, it does say on the bottom black, so you will be getting a black one here. Now, if you've watched the video very, very carefully, you will be able to answer this question. What was the square root of my granddad's canoe in 1962? Leave your answers down in the comments section. I'm only kidding. If you want this torch, just leave a comment down in the comment selection saying I'm in. If you're feeling generous, go and watch my other videos. Please like, share and subscribe to this channel. Share this video to your friends as well if it's useful for them. And we'll do the whole spinny thing again and we'll announce the winner in a couple of weeks' time. So there you go, you could have one of these awesome little torches for yourself and add it to your EDC collection. And on that note, that's about it, ladies and gents. I think I've covered everything regarding functions on the torch. Again, it's a great little piece of kit for not a lot of money. If you enjoyed today's content, please consider subscribing to the channel. It is free for you and helps me out enormously. But yeah, that is it. Until the next one, you stay safe, and as always, stay crafty. See you again, guys. Bye bye.